When people are transitioning to a low-fat vegan diet, they get a little confused and they're not sure what to eat for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, because a lot of the vegan recipes on YouTube are unhealthy. They look delicious and they probably are, but they're not healthy and they will not help you lose weight. So, my name is Nina. I'm a certified personal trainer and strength and conditioning coach. I have a certification in fitness nutrition, and I am the author of 4 books and 2 are cookbooks. So, I'm going to share with you 14 low fat, plant based, 100% vegan recipes that are very easy that you can make. For breakfast, how about tofu? And you take them and you squeeze out the liquid. You can use paper towels, and then you just crumble them up with your hands and you make them into vegan eggs. And then I stir fry these with, I don't use oil. I take an onion and I dice it up, and then I put the pan on, I heat the pan, no oil, about medium heat for just like 2 minutes until it's hot, and then I just put the dry diced onions on there, and you will hear it'll sizzle. Yep. And then you just add the other ingredients, the tofu, your spices, and then I also roast potatoes in the oven. I spray a little bit of water on it and it roasts, and then I just put them all together. I have a recipe in my book, and I also have a recipe on my blog that's similar to that, and I'll put all this information in the notes below, so if you are taking notes and you miss something, you don't have to play it back. You can just check that out, and I'll put links as well. Okay, so that's just one breakfast idea. A fruit smoothie with almond milk and a frozen banana is fantastic. Now, you don't have to use protein powder, but if you want to, just make sure it's 100% vegan and there isn't natural flavors. Unless it's certified organic, that's fine. Now remember, we don't need as much protein as we're led to believe, so you may not even need protein powder. So that's completely up to you. If you're getting enough calories in your diet and you're eating grains and beans, then you should be consuming enough protein. The bananas, what I do is I take a whole banana, I peel it, I break that off into chunks, and then I freeze that in one of those little bags, and then it's ready the next day. And I like using frozen bananas because it gives it that creaminess, more of that milk texture that you like, but without the saturated fat or the extra calories. Another option is oatmeal with water, so you don't need any vegan milk. I've tried it with and without. The vegan milk, it adds calories, and a lot of times those have gums in it that are not good for gut health. So, and it does. I tried it. It doesn't taste any different with or without. What you might like is if you have a vegan milk that has a vanilla flavor, get an organic vanilla extract that's alcohol free. It tastes better and it's richer if it doesn't have alcohol. Although those little bottles, they're really expensive. They're about $20. So that's really up to you if you really want that vanilla flavor. The other thing I add, so I'll have 1 cup of oatmeal. Actually, I don't use oatmeal because oatmeal is processed and it makes my blood sugar spike, but it's super easy and it's quick. I use oat groats, which is the whole intact grain that I soak overnight and then I cook the next day. It takes about, I think, 45 minutes to cook the following day, so it does take a bit more time and preparation. But if the oatmeal works for you, then fine, but try oat groats. After it's done, stir in 1 cup, a full cup of frozen blueberries. You can add a little bit of cinnamon and a little squeeze of fresh lemon juice. Oh my goodness, it does not need sugar because you've got the sweet blueberries and the wonderful tartness from the lemon. It just goes so nicely. You will be really stoked. You'll be happy about it. So another breakfast idea. Now this may be super bizarre. to you, because when I tell most people about this, they're like, what? They just think it's weird, and maybe it is, but it's so good. Okay, so I make a fruit salad. So I get mixed greens or whatever greens I have. I get out my cutting board and I cut the greens into little tiny bite-sized pieces. The worst thing is when you take a bite of some salad on your fork and it's sticking outside your mouth and you can't get it in. So that's no fun. So little tiny chunks. Rinse it first, put it on a very large plate, and then I'll cut up a sweet apple, like Fuji. Those are my favorite. Now I leave the skin on, but I wash the outside really good because, you know, other people have touched it, germs, yuck. So I clean that, I leave the skin on, I just core it and I slice that and I chop it. Just not too small, just bite-sized pieces. And the other thing, if you have nectarines that are in season right now, they're so delicious and super sweet. So I'll add a nectarine. So I'll add both fruits. And then, before I add the fruit, I take a rich balsamic vinegar and I'll just drizzle that on top. It adds that little sweetness, tartness to it. It is, and then you can add some salted pepitas on top. Those are pumpkin seeds, or a couple of chopped walnuts. This is absolutely delicious, totally nutritious, low calorie, and it'll fill you up. Just make sure you put it on a really big plate because you want to fill that up. All right, so we got breakfast. Let's go to lunch. Okay, for lunch, my favorite, and I think everybody's favorite, even those people who are not vegan, are Buddha bowl. So what I like about a Buddha bowl is you have a whole bunch of different elements to it, and you can modify it. Now now you want to have a grain. One of my favorites, and it's light, and it's more like a fluffy grain. So it's quinoa, Quinoa. It's one of those things that are mispronounced all the time. Again, quinoa. And so I'll have some quinoa, and then you'll have some greens. You can have kale, a little bit of kale chopped up, or Swiss chard. You want to find greens that are more nutritious and try different varieties. Don't just eat one. You want all sorts of different minerals. And then a potato. Now, sweet potato is just super wonderful with that. You can do a mashed one, you can do baked and diced, chopped red bell pepper, and beans. Take some beans, your favorite. You can do black beans, you can do chickpeas. Those are wonderful. Rinse and drain them, and then make a little bit of tahini sauce and just drizzle that on top. And then you have this bowl of really healthy, different varieties of vegetables. So that is definitely a staple in a vegan diet. Should be a staple in everyone's diet, but okay. All right, another option is a Southwest salad. Don't worry, we're going to talk about things other than salads, but Southwest salad includes black beans, corn, you can do rice or some other grain, and then guacamole. Now, guacamole is really high in fat, so we're doing a low-fat, plant-based vegan diet. So we got to be careful about those fats because they interfere with glucose control and heart health. So you can eat your avocado, you can eat your guacamole, just not in huge amounts. So I'll take like a tablespoon and a half, and I'll put either a dollop on top, or this one's really nice. So I'll take the guacamole and I'll put some gloves on and I'll saturate the guacamole in the salad and the greens. And so with every bite of the greens, you get that delicious dressing. Okay. So the next one is black bean soup. I absolutely love this, and the recipes typically call for a stock, of course you don't want chicken stock, but a vegetable stock. The problem with lots of stocks, almost all of them, they have sugar. Why? Because sugar tastes good. So the ones that don't have sugar, actually every single one I've ever seen has oil in it, and we want to avoid oil. Let's just avoid it 100%. Once you try a little bit here and there, it's just going to build up, add more calories. It's not going to be helpful. It's going to be inflammatory. So let's get rid of the oil 100%. So if you can find a vegan stock that doesn't have artificial flavors and colors, if it's clean, let me know. Put the name or link in the comments below because I want to check that out. But I just make my own. All I do is I just use bottled water and I add my seasonings. I'll add salt and pepper, paprika, oregano, some thyme, garlic powder, and onion powder. And you just take a little bit of sips until it's how you like it. And also another ingredient that is super healthy, it is miso. You can do a yellow or white miso. It's salty and it's super healthy, full of prebiotics. So take a little bit of that, dilute it, like you do with cornstarch, dilute it with some water, make it all liquidy because it's pretty concentrated. And then you can put that in any soup. Doesn't just have to be Asian soup. Okay, another option, vegetable sloop. Sloop. Actually slurp it. Slurp. So vegetable soup, it's wonderful. You just throw everything in there. You got your carrots, you can do potatoes, green beans, wonderful. And definitely add some beans to that because super healthy, good protein, excellent fiber, good for the gut. Okay, snacks. You don't really need snacks, right? Oh, you do? Okay. You want snacks? I usually just have a little bit of leftover from my lunch or dinner. But if I'm not too hungry, one of my absolute favorites, I think it's a treat, are sugar snap peas. I get these from Trader Joe's. They're in a bag. Sometimes they're not in season, and all I do is I just wash them and take the tops off, and they're sweet and crunchy, super healthy, low calorie. So those are my favorite, and my husband really likes celery with peanut butter, and I like celery with almond butter. And when you're buying your nut butters, again, super high in fat, read the ingredients, make sure there's no salt, no sugar, no oil. Okay? All right, dinner, what are we gonna eat? Okay, zucchini noodles are super easy. They're a great replacement for pasta. Ton less calories, very few carbohydrates. It's a plant, you're getting more vegetables. So one tip, I've got more than one. All right, so I want you to peel that zucchini, get all the green off because the green is very, very bitter. And then you can just make zoodles out of it. You can buy them pre-made, but I would suggest you buy them yourself, one of those machines, because you want it fresh. You want your food as fresh as possible to get the maximum nutrients. All right, so we've got our zucchini noodles. There's a bunch of different things that you can make with them, but a super easy dish that you can make is just zoodles with a marinara sauce. I actually just buy a can of tomato sauce and then I just add my oregano and spices. I have a recipe in my book that I published. It's called The High Five Diet. It has a bunch of low-fat, plant-based recipes. And this is so good and so easy. I make it all the time, and I just make a huge batch. And then I just put it in the microwave when I want to eat some more. All right, another option. We've got 3 more delicious options left for dinner, but it doesn't have to be for dinner. It can be lunch. It can be a snack. Okay, spaghetti squash puttanesca, so good. So you get one of those very large spaghetti squashes. They're orange or kind of yellowish. They're more yellow, I'd say. Cut it in half and then you just bake it, and then when it's done, you take your fork and you scrape out the delicious goodness, and it looks kind of like spaghetti. And it's sweet. If you get it where it's ripe, it's very sweet, and you could just eat it just like that. And then you can add your tomatoes and your spices and a little bit of green olives for that brininess. But olives are very, very high in fat and extremely high in sodium. So I rarely ever eat olives, and that was one of the hardest things for me because I love olives, but certain things you're just going to have to give up for your health. And for me, health is number 1. It's the most important thing, because if you don't have health, and this is what my mom said, If you don't have your health, you have nothing. And that is so, so true. All right, 2 more recipes. A tofu broccoli stir fry. So the first thing you want to do is you heat your pan, cut up your onion. I like to do like a yellow onion, and then you can add everything else, and you just add a little bit of water, and you can keep adding a little bit more as you go. Maybe start with a 1/4 cup, and then you can add a few tablespoons here and there. And instead of teriyaki sauce, I like to use coconut aminos. It's sweet, it's salty, but check the sodium content, because certain bottles or certain brands will have a different amount of sodium, and they can be a huge, huge difference. So you can just do a little bit, but I would suggest finding the one that's the lowest amount of sodium and use that for your sweetener. And then you can add all the other wonderful Asian ingredients like water chestnuts and bamboo shoots. You can do a couple cashews on top, maybe a couple peanuts. I actually try not to do too many nuts. I try to limit mine to 7 a day because I'm trying to keep my fat content as low as possible, because I'm a diabetic, and for diabetics, fats are a real problem because it makes it harder for us to control our blood sugars. All right, last recipe. Oh, this one's delicious. You're gonna love, love, love this one. Baked sweet potatoes. So you take your potatoes, slice them, and then you just bake them. When they're cooked, just mash them a little bit with a fork, and then you put your black beans on there, hot sauce, and then a little bit of guacamole if you like it, and just maybe a little more hot sauce on top. Oh, and cilantro and sliced red bell peppers. Check out my low-fat plant-based diet book. It talks about the importance of eating a low-fat plant-based diet, how to do it, and I also have a list of ingredients that you want to avoid, ingredients you definitely want to incorporate every day, and a list of vegan ingredients that you only want to have once in a while. That book is called The High Five Diet. You can find that on my website. So I'm actually going to go do a little workout. I'm going to change into a pair of shorts and come with me do it. I'll put the video up here, and if you like this video, let me know, and let me know if you are going to try any of these recipes, or if you have tried them, or if you have a favorite recipe, let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel and support me, and I hope to see you soon.